Hola, good you're watching this video. In this video I show you the traffic signs from the category parking and stopping in the Netherlands. But before I go to the first question, first some advertisement. Because if you need to do the test at the CBR in the Netherlands, you must be prepared. And the best way to prepare is go to theoriecursus.nl and there you order your video theory course. It really helps you to pass the course. You not only get all the videos with all the explanations, but also mock tests to practice for the exam. The first traffic sign regarding parking and stopping is sign E1. This sign means parking prohibition. And with the parking prohibition, logical, you may not park. But you may stop to do two things. One of them is stop to let passengers in or out your car. And the second one is stop to load and unload heavy goods. Well, if you see these two blue areas, you can put two letters in it, NP, no parking. And in a parking prohibition, a dashed yellow line has the same meaning as the parking sign. Second one, this sign counts only for the side of the carriageway where the sign is placed. Third, only after you have passed this sign you may not park. Before the sign you may. Number 4, this sign is only for the carriageway, not for the verge. Remember this well. Number 5, loading and unloading of goods is allowed. Number 6, let passengers in or out of the car immediately is allowed. Number 7, you may not do everything else than let passengers in or out of your car and load or unload heavy goods. So you may not stop to make a phone call, you may not stop to send a message, you may not stop to ask for directions. Nothing. And number 8, watch carefully for the bottom plates. Also in this video you get a few questions which you can get at the CBR also. First one, you want to drop a passenger here, is that permitted? Yes or no? And the right answer is yes, because this dashed yellow line has the same meaning as the sign no parking. So if you may not park, there are always two things you may do, and one of them is let passengers in or out of your car. So this is allowed. Second question, you want to park here, is that allowed? Yes or no? Right answer is yes. On the right side there is a parking prohibition, but it only counts for the side where the sign is placed, so only for the right side, and on the left side you may park, no problem. Third question, you park here, is that allowed? Yes or no? And again the answer is yes. Here you see the sign that you may not park, but the sign is only if you pass the sign, and before the sign you may park. And on a bridge, may you park on a bridge? Yeah, you may park on a bridge. May you park under a bridge? Of course you may park under a bridge. May you park on a viaduct? Yes, you may park on a viaduct. May you park under a viaduct? Yes, you may park under a viaduct. But can you stand still under a tunnel? No, you cannot. So everything related to a viaduct or a bridge, no problem to park there. But under a tunnel, you may do nothing. You cannot stop under a tunnel. Next question, you park here. Is that allowed? Yes or no? And again, the answer is yes, because the sign counts only for the carriageway and not for the words. So if you want to park in the woods, no problem. What you want to do there, I don't know, maybe look at some deers or other wild animals. But you may park in the woods. That's the question. You stopped here to ask for directions. Is that allowed? Yes or no? And finally, we have a no as an answer, because you may only do two things with the dashed yellow line. You may let passengers in or out your car, or you may load or unload heavy goods, but you cannot stop here and ask for directions. Instead of just the sign parking prohibition, it can also be placed in a zone. So if you pass this sign parking prohibition zone, you may not park on the right side and you may not park on the left side of the carriageway. Again, you may park in the words. And the zone, no parking prohibition, is counting against till the sign end of zone parking prohibition. Sign E2, prohibition to stand still. If you pass this sign, you may not stand still on the side of the carriageway where this sign is placed, and it's only for the carriageway, not for the words. And we have 4 blue areas, and you can put 4 letters in it. STOP. You cannot stop at all, or you can put STEL. You cannot stand still. And a solid yellow line has the same meaning as the sign. And this sign is only for the side of the carriageway where the sign is placed. And it's only after the sign that you cannot stand still. And again, it's only for the carriageway, not for the words. And you can also not load or unload heavy goods, and you can also not let passengers in or out of your car at this sign. Nothing is allowed at all. But look out for the bottom plates. A question: you want to load or unload goods here, is that allowed? Yes or no? The right answer is no, because at the continuous yellow line, same meaning as the sign, you may not stand still, and you cannot load or unload goods without standing still. So, not allowed. Or a question: you park here on New Year's Day, is that allowed? Yes or no? The answer is yes. The bottom plate says you may not stand still from the 16th till 31 of each and every month. And in the Netherlands, I know there are some countries that have New Year's Day on another day, but in the Netherlands, New Year's Day is January 1st. So from the 1st of the month till 15th of the month, you may do everything here, park whatever you want. And instead of just the sign, you can also have a zone. So if you have a zone with the prohibition to stand still, you cannot stand still on the left and right side of this zone till the sign that the prohibition to stand still zone is over. And we go to sign E3. It's a prohibition to place bicycles and mopeds, and bicycles and mopeds you can and may only place on the sidewalk. So this sign is only for the sidewalk. And instead of just a sign, just as the other two signs before, also with the prohibition to place bicycles and mopeds, it can be a zone. So in the complete zone, you may not place your bicycle, low moped, snorfiets or moped. Sign E4. Maybe it does surprise you, but I think a lot of people are not surprised by this sign. What it means: this is a parking area. Here you can park your car. Sign E5 is a taxi stand, so only taxis may park here, but at this sign you can do two things. You may stop there to let passengers in or out your car, and you can stop there to load and unload heavy goods. E6 is a parking space for the disabled. You cannot park there, but it's allowed to do the two things. Stop there to let passengers in or out of your car, or stop there to load and unload heavy goods. You stopped here to let a passenger out of the car. Is that allowed? Yes or no? Many people will think, no, it's not allowed, it's only for the disabled, but you are not want to park here, you want to let a passenger out of the car, and that is allowed. It's also allowed to load and unload heavy goods here. In which situation are you allowed to load or unload your heavy goods? Answer A, only situation A. Answer B, only in situation B. Or answer C, in both situations. The right answer. Answer C, in both situations. You may not park at a taxi stand, you may not park at a parking place for the disabled, but load and unload the heavy goods is allowed in both situations. E7. Parking permitted for the immediately loading and unloading of goods only. So you may not park here, but you can do two things. You can load and unload your heavy goods, and also you can let your passengers in and out of your car. E8. Parking only intended for the vehicle category or group of vehicles indicated on the sign. So in this case, it's a parking place for cars only. But it can also have the sign of a motorcycle. It can say police or fire department or ambulance or CBR. Or it can be only for lorries, can be only for campers. But at each and every one of these signs, you can stop, let passengers in and out your car, or load and unload heavy goods. E9 is a parking only intended for permit holders. In some cities, you can have a permit to park in your own street or in your own neighborhood. And only those with those permits may park here. Other people cannot park here. E10. Parking disc zone with mandatory use of parking disc. Also parking prohibition if parking is longer than the parking duration indicated on the sign. In this case, 2 hours. And the parking disc is always the, what does it say? Hour of arrival, and you can set it to the next little line. So if you come 12:31, you can put the parking disc at 1 o'clock. If you come 1 minute over 1, you can put it on 1:30. You stopped here to let a passenger out of the car. Do you have to use a parking disc? Yes or no? Right answer is no. You only use the parking disc if you want to park. And if you want to let a passenger out of your car, or you want to load or unload heavy goods, then you don't have to use the parking disc. But if you want to ask for directions or make an important phone call or whatever else, then you have to use the parking disc. E11. It's the end of the parking disc zone with mandatory use of a parking disc. I think everybody knows what this sign means. Sign E12. Parking facilities for people transferring to public transport. So at this parking place you can park for free or for a lower price than usual. Park your car and go with bus or train or metro or whatever. Most countries it calls park and ride, but here we say parking facilities for people transferring to public transport. And you may park here, sometimes for free, sometimes you have to pay. Sign E13 is a parking place for carpoolers. And maybe some people don't know what is a carpooler or what is carpool or what is carpooling. Well, it's driving to a destination with more than one people in one car. So you park your car here, a colleague of you or friend of you also park his car here, or more friends, and together with one car you drive to the destination. That's carpooling. And this will save some fuel cost, it saves the environment, it saves traffic jams, so it's very good to do that. And those parking places, you will see a lot of them in the Netherlands. And those were the traffic signs in the category parking and stopping. I hope you learned something, and if you want to learn all, you go to theoriecursus.nl and there you order your video theory course. And if you study and you have questions, you can always send me a WhatsApp and I will help you always. Thanks you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye. Ciao.